Welcome to POV 24/7 on 104 FM. I'm Hạnh, your host. In today's program, after the news, the current affairs will highlight the launch of 2020 Summer Volunteer Camp. Then in Discovery Vietnam, we will introduce private house exhibits worshipping rice and salt jars of Central Highlands. Our Village Life segment will look at Quảng Ning's Mountain District's effort to promote OCOP strength. Thus, Live Edition will feature a group named the Sharing Kitchen, which helps disadvantaged people in Ho Chi Minh City. As usual, reserve 15 minutes for Middleton Hall, our radio English teaching series. After that, our daily What's On infotainment spot will take you to Thung Nai, a place known as Jewel of Hoa Binh Province. Last but not least, this week's edition of Melody of Homeland will feature songs by Phong Nhã. But first, here's the news. In the news headlines, women's empowerment and human resource development to be discussed at ASEAN Summit. The National Radio Festival opens, and the US may expand New START treaty under certain conditions. Now for the news in detail.
Female empowerment in the digital era will be the focus of a special session of ASEAN leaders on Friday at the 36th ASEAN Summit, the first ASEAN Summit to be held online. The special session was proposed by Vietnam to mark the 25th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, and affirm ASEAN's commitment on gender equality and promoting the role of women in building the ASEAN community. Ambassador Nguyễn Nguyệt Nga, Senior Advisor of the National Secretariat of ASEAN 2020, said,
Cái nội dung về bình đẳng giới rất là quan trọng đối với hợp tác giữa các nước.
Gender equality is intrinsic to international cooperation. It was endorsed by all ASEAN members in 2015, and it is the fifth of the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals. The issue is still a priority because women in developing countries are facing problems, and developed countries want to share their experience.
A number of documents will be voted on at the summit, including the ASEAN Declaration on Human Resource Development. Minister of Labour, Investment and Social Affairs Đào Ngọc Dung said,
tuyên bố này rất có ý nghĩa nhằm tái khẳng định.
This declaration is of great importance as it reiterates ASEAN leaders' commitment to building an ASEAN community with people as the focus and purpose. The declaration highlights one of ASEAN's major goals stated in its charter, which is human resource development through close cooperation between members.
The ASEAN Summit is expected to adopt the Chairman's statement of the 36th ASEAN Summit, the Vision Statement on Cohesive and Responsive ASEAN, and the ASEAN Declaration on Human Resources Development for the Changing World of Work. Laos Deputy Foreign Minister Thong Phan Savanphet says Vietnam is doing a good job as ASEAN chair for 2020, particularly in leading ASEAN's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Savanphet said Vietnam has organized meetings of all levels to collaborate on the pandemic. Despite the pandemic, high-level meetings of ASEAN members, ASEAN Plus 3 members, and ASEAN and its partners took place thanks to Vietnam's facilitation. Mr. Savanphet promised his country's full support for Vietnam while it's leading ASEAN. The 14th National Radio Festival 2020 opened on Wednesday in Cao Lãnh, hosted by Voice of Vietnam and the Đồng Tháp Provincial People's Committee. The 3-day festival themed Radio, Innovation and Diversity has drawn 62 radio and television stations, 16 affiliates of the Voice of Vietnam, the Military Broadcasting Center, and the Department of Communications of the Ministry of Public Security. 231 contest entries will compete for 20 gold, 53 silver, and 72 bronze.